Do you know what your single largest expense is in your life? Is it housing? No. Is it cars? I sure hope not. Home audio systems? That'd be nice, but no. It's actually taxes. Let's talk about it. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Mike, and I retired at age 41. If you're interested in hearing about early retirement from someone who's done it and is passionate about personal finance, please consider giving a like and subscribe. I appreciate it, and it helps the channel out. Taxes are often the biggest single expense in life because they apply to nearly every financial activity, from earning income to spending, investing, and even passing on wealth. Taxes are a significant drag on your money. There are many taxes that you pay. You ever hear them all listed out? Are you sitting down? I am. Here's a little list of taxes that take such a large chunk of your money. There are 7 big ones. Number 1, income taxes, federal and state. Federal income tax, it's a progressive tax on earnings. You make more, you pay more as a percentage. State income tax, now this varies by state. Some states have no income tax, like Texas and Florida, but they usually have high taxes in other areas. So your state will get your money out of you no matter what. What about a local income tax? Some cities and counties, they impose additional income taxes, like the city of New York, for example. They do that. No wonder it's so expensive to live there. What if you're self-employed? Well, there's the self-employment tax. It covers Social Security and Medicare for freelancers and business owners. What about FICA? That's one of my favorites. Not really. It's payroll tax. You know, you get your first check from your first job. A couple of the first line items will be Social Security and Medicare, deducted right from your wages. You don't even have to tell them. They do it automatically. And then, of course, there's the alternative minimum tax. That ensures that high earners pay at least a minimum tax rate. Okay? So, what's the second group of taxes? Sales and consumption taxes. So sales tax, paid on most goods and services. Now, this varies by state and locality. Logically, it is the most fair tax there is, since it's the same rate no matter who's buying. Basically, it's a consumption tax. If you're a big spending consumer, you're going to pay more sales tax. Of course, if you go against the grain and you are not a big spending consumer, you pay less of this tax. Here in Wisconsin, the base sales tax is 5%, which is what I pay. But if you live in a poorly managed city and or county, like, Milwaukee, for example, your sales tax is now 7.9% when you include county sales tax and the city sales tax. So if you do most of your spending in Milwaukee, your sales tax is 58% higher than if you shop in a better area of the state, or better run area of the state. So no matter what state you live in, be aware that your location can make your life pricier or cheaper. If you can, choose the cheaper, better run places to live. Of course, there's an excise tax as well, sometimes called sin taxes on specific goods. Gasoline, tobacco and vaping products, alcohol, guns and ammo, and luxury items. Number 3, property and home ownership taxes. Oh yeah, can't get away from this one. Property tax. Do you own a house? Then you're probably paying property tax. It's charged annually on your real estate, like homes, land, commercial buildings. Now, even if you had paid off your house, you have paid off your house, you have no mortgage, you don't owe nothing to no one. But if you really want to know who owns your house, try stop paying property taxes. You're going to find out in a real hurry who actually owns your house. Anyway, there's personal property tax. Some states will tax your car or your boat or your RV or other personal assets. That sounds fun. What about the real estate transfer tax? Anytime you buy or sell property, there's an additional tax for that, whenever it's bought or sold. What about if you need a mortgage to buy piece of property? Well, guess what? There's a tax on recording mortgages with the government. Nice. And if you own rental properties, some states will tax rental income separately. So there's a rental tax. Next group, the vehicle and transportation taxes. Gas tax. Yep. Federal and state taxes on every gallon of fuel. What about vehicle registration fees? Either once or twice a year, depending upon your state, you have to register to have a license, or to register your car. And, I noticed this year that if you have an electric vehicle or a hybrid vehicle, at least in my state, they charge double for that. So I don't know what they're encouraging there. Actually, I do know what they're encouraging, and it's not good. But what about a driver's license? If you're going to drive, you're going to have a driver's license. Well, every time you renew that thing, you got to pay a fee. That's a tax. Do you have freeways or tollways in your state? Well, here in Wisconsin, we don't have tollways, thankfully. But in our neighbors like Illinois, they have them. Toll roads. So some states like that, they charge taxes, fees for using their highways and bridges. What about public transit tax? Some cities like to add a tax to fund buses, subways, or commuter rail. Yep. Next group of taxes are business and investment taxes. You ever hear of the capital gains tax? Yeah, it's a tax on all your profits from selling investments like stocks and real estate. You ever have a dividend? Well, probably going to pay a dividend tax on that. What about interest income? Do you have a savings account? Did you get some interest last year? Yep, you're going to owe taxes on that too. So anything from your bank accounts, or bonds or CDs, interest income tax. What about a corporate income tax? If you own a business, that gets taxed separately. Do you have a Subway franchise that you run? Well, some states are going to charge you a franchise tax just for the right to do business. And what about a business license tax and fee? Local governments often charge fees to operate legally. Like what? I don't know, do you own a bar? Hard to sell any booze without a liquor license. Oh, you wanted a liquor license? Yeah, there's a fee for that. It's another tax. What about a professional licensing fee? If you're a lawyer or doctor or barber or any profession, you're going to need to be licensed. Well, guess what? There are licensing fees. Yeah, another tax. Okay, what about estate gift and wealth taxes? Yeah, there's something called the death tax. That's right. Even if you die, you can't get out of paying taxes. They say there's two things guaranteed in life, death and taxes. This seems like a double whammy, a tax on death. Anyway, the estate tax. If you have an estate when you die of over a certain threshold, that alone is enough to get taxed, and you'll just have to pay Uncle Sam. Now, if any of that money, that's an estate tax. Now, if you have any beneficiaries and they inherit a certain amount over a certain threshold, then they get taxed as well. What about if Grandpa gives you over $18,000? Yep, the IRS may tax that as well. So, the last group of taxes is something I call hidden and miscellaneous taxes. Like all the taxes you pay, look at your phone and utility bills. There's taxes on cell phones and landlines and electricity and water and internet bills. What about your cable and streaming services? Yep, taxes are added to that too, including Hulu, Netflix, yada yada. You ever travel? What about the hotel and lodging tax? Yes, there's an extra line item there for the hotel tax or Airbnbs. And what if you want to travel really far? Guess what? You book a plane ticket. There's going to be federal and state taxes on the airfare. Don't forget baggage fees. What about sin taxes? Now, we already talked about, did we talk about alcohol? Yeah, alcohol, tobacco, gambling, and in some states, marijuana. They will tax that too. Ooh, what if you play the lottery? What if you win? Federal and state income taxes on lottery and gambling winnings as well. Oh, did you want to hunt or fish this year? Yeah, you're going to need a license. That's also a fee, just for the permission to hunt and fish. Oh, did you want to get married? Yeah, there's something called a marriage license fee. It's basically a tax disguised as a fee, just for the privilege of getting married. Oh, did you want a pet too? Yeah, now some cities and states require annual pet registration, i.e. a fee and a tax. So, what are we to conclude from all this? There's a lot of taxes. The tax burden adds up. Most Americans pay dozens of different taxes without even realizing it. While income tax is the most obvious, there are many hidden ones like sales and gas and utility that add up over a lifetime. So what are you supposed to do? Well, how do the rich people minimize their tax burden? Legally is how they do it. They invest in tax-advantaged accounts. Things like your 401k, your IRA, your HSA. How about a Roth IRA? Yes, I would invest in as many of those as you can. Tax-advantaged. And what if what else could you do? You could own a business. See now, Joe Blow will earn money and then pay the tax, and then anything that's left over, then they use that for their expenses. But a business, they will earn their profits, and then they will write off their expenses, and then they will pay taxes on what's left. That's the opposite of what most people do. So big advantage to having a business. And of course, you could also invest in real estate. There are some great things like depreciation and mortgage interest that will definitely help minimize your tax bill. All right, bottom line, taxes are unavoidable and your largest lifetime expense. But understanding tax laws and using legal strategies can help you keep more of your hard-earned money. Minimize what you are legally required to pay all the time, every year. And as we say around here, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. Well, that's it for today. What are your thoughts on taxes? I'm sure you have some. What are your favorite ways to minimize your tax burden legally? Please let me know down below in the comments. And if you have any questions for me, ask them down below as well. Thank you for your time. Take care, and as always, remember to do your best and forget the rest. Peace.